To cut a long story short, I lost my mind. I worked in civil engineering for over 30 years. I worked in civil engineering, not as a civil engineer, because I never got the certificate. I never went to school for it. But I can do all the shit. I just didn't pay the money, which really just means I don't get the stamp, so I can't stamp things. Like if I consult on something, I could tell you stuff about your land and your property, but if you want to take that information to a bank or a lawyer, you need to have it certified. You need someone's stamp on it. I don't have that stamp. So that's the only really difference. It's a big difference, trust me, especially as far as making money in that business. But there's a lot of things I learned there or that relate to a lot of the stuff I talk about now. I thought about this as I was in my mirror trying to eye out. I'm re-arts and craftsing my mirror in my bathroom just to make it look better. So I'm using black electrical tape to kind of outline it. And like when I had to pull the tape off to be the proper length for both sides, I was fucking dead balls on. Like not even half an inch off. And I didn't even try. Like I didn't hold it up. I didn't look at it. I just, for years and years of what we call eyeballing things, which is basically guesstimating, it became natural, like second nature for me to look at something and go, oh yeah, that's 2 feet. Oh yeah, that's 6 feet. Oh yeah, that's 12 inches. We used to pull up to houses, right? Excuse me. Long COVID. It's not that doesn't exist. Actually, none of it exists. But we'd pull up to a house and it would be like raining or shitty out or really cold. So we would just, we did a lot of plot plans. Meaning, if you're selling a house, buying a house, you're trying to put an addition on it, sometimes the bank will require you to get a plot plan. Something my dad invented in the 1970s. I don't know how you would have trademarked such a thing, but he invented it, right? And then somewhere by the 90s, banks started requiring it. I don't know, there's a missed opportunity there somewhere. He was like that, though. He wasn't really a driven by money guy. He was driven by making people happy. So, he did make a lot of money. But it wasn't his priority. He left a lot of money on the table, like willingly. He was one of those guys like, whatever. I got enough money, or, that the relationship between me and the people are more important. But then, you act like that, some people take advantage of you. I remember these Israeli land developers who came over from Israel, and everybody in who worked on their project made millions of dollars. Millions. They couldn't have done it without my dad, and my dad charged them like a flat fee, like the regular, I don't know, for the whole project. Would he charge like 20 grand or something? And they all made millions. And that was the beginning of my dislike. So I picked up a lot of things. One of the things too, when you did these plot plans, when you had to figure out where someone's property sat on the lot, sometimes you had to figure out where their property lines were, which led to doing a lot of research and a lot of musty basements of town halls, registry of deeds, things like that. Hang on, I'll be right back. So yeah, we'd have to do research on an area, especially if it's like where there's no clear delineation where the property lines are. It gets kind of murky in certain areas. City planning on some of those Massachusetts cities aren't the best because they're so old, So I always think of the one in Salem, Mass that we had to go to. The stuff, sometimes we needed to get information that was so old, because we had to trace back the origins of where all this, how the land was parceled out. We'd end up in these dusty ass basements. There was one in Salem, Mass, at the town hall, which are all repurposed Tartarian buildings, you know, that they always are. There's something about that. Oh, not always. Sometimes they let some of them be, like libraries or YMCAs. I've seen those too, where they take old Tartarian buildings that were meant for something way more spectacular, and then make them some mundane kind of fucking modern day building. And the one in Salem, Massachusetts was like in a vault. It was a big vault door. I don't know if there was a bank there at some point, or they had some goods that they were trying to keep from people, because that was a door that was so thick and it had such a giant lock on it. It looked like something from like a Batman movie, you know. And you went in there, and the books, I'm surprised you didn't make us wear gloves, because you had to be very careful with some of these books, you know. They're very old. One thing I didn't ever think about was the size of these books. The physical size of them. It would sometimes take me and my partner, both of us, to pull these off the shelves. They were wide. They were big. And a lot of times they were what we consider field books, meaning books you bring out there to take notes while you're at the site. Many times a field book is very small, something you can slip into a back pocket, or maybe a paperback size book. These books, you had to lay them down, and like the page size were half the size of my body. The writing in them was like this. It was like if I went, this is where, like, what I didn't see is that it was like they were the books of a giant. Now, I didn't think of that at the time. Why would you? I was squarely in the matrix and under the spells and the programming of being a young American. Do you remember President Nixon? The bill he had to pay more even yesterday. So anyway, I wasn't noticing that. Like, neither of us said, hey, why do we have to fucking, you know, we have to get on a step ladder and lift this heavy ass field book down. It was just fucking something you didn't notice. When the veil, well, there's a couple things going on here. The veil was very intact then. And I've gone over what I theorize the situation to be, how you have your own personal veil, as the Bible says, the scales on our eyes. And then there's a larger veil that encompasses the screen, the area you see. And those are breaking down due to, I believe, overuse. They've been doing the same thing here for too long. They've been using the same methodology of keeping their cattle here to farm them in the most efficient way they can. And we're reaching the end of an age. We're reaching the end of a cycle. Astrology people say this doesn't happen often, where these two endings kind of match up. It's supposed to be some kind of significance. But at any rate, I think even a casual observer could agree that we are seeing things now that we never saw before. You know, we're looking at things that they're there. They were always there. We were always looking at them. But now another dimension to it is being revealed. You know, like I said, we never thought about it. You know, why these were so big. They're just, you know, the big books. When we wanted the oldest information, we have to go to get the big books. The ones the fucking giants drew up the fucking information with. Excuse me, hold on a second. Another thing about civil engineering. I've worked on all kinds of projects over the years. Private homes, businesses, putting in a warehouse, bridge. I didn't do much bridge and road work. The company I was with did. The bridges and the road work those were the best gigs to get, because usually they were state contracts. There's a lot of that going on here in Hawaii. What it is the state works out a deal with the contractor, with an owner or whatever it is, construction crew, and they kind of work it out so that you get paid X amount of dollars for the project. What it basically works out to is that you don't really have to work every day, as long as the project gets done by a certain date. Certain markers are met, like by this date you have this and that. So the state crews would go out to work on a road or a bridge or whatever, and like just show up in the morning. I had to get there on time, right? And then you just like have coffee for a couple hours. You get out before lunchtime, and you spend maybe an hour working, doing some kind of work, or making it look like you're doing some kind of work. Then you go for lunch. A lot of guys would knock off. You never see them come back. But the party chief had to at least come back. And then after lunch, if everybody was up to it, we'd go out there for another 45 minutes and stand around and look like we're doing something. But we're not, because we already did what we had to do for that quarter or whatever. What we had to do is already done. And then as long as the crew chief kind of signed out at the right time, that was it. So those were great, and you get paid well. That's an idea of what the kind of corruption that exists. I'm sure that happens in every state. It happens in Hawaii a lot. It took them fucking 2 years to put a sewer line in behind my house. 2 years. I don't know how fast they can do it these days, but when I was working in the business, it didn't take 2 years, And they were only doing it because they fucked up something else early. Whatever. I'm not going to pile on these poor people here. They're nice, A lot of these people are really nice. They welcome me, They're just, some people are better at other things, it's not the infrastructure thing. It's kind of a white thing, if you look at civilizations and who built them and who maintains them, there's a lot of groups, a lot of ethnic groups that don't have the term for maintenance. It's not what they do. A lot of groups from the warmer climates, Africans definitely, they don't have any word in any of their languages for maintenance, to maintain things. And you see what that causes, in their country. Anyway, the other big thing is I worked on all these projects throughout all these years. Okay, never at any time did someone say, we have to, what about the mathematics that we have to do to work Earth's curvature into this project? Because what they say is for every square mile, you need to consider 6 inches or work a 6-inch dip into everything you do. Otherwise, whatever you're putting there is going to fall over or not, because the Earth is round, right? So every square mile, 6 inches. We've never even discussed that. Back then, no one had any reason to even doubt that, it works out somehow. If you were to ask us, in being squarely in the matrix at that point, we'd never think about it. We'd just be like, hey, the Earth is round. So yeah, we didn't know about the 6-inch thing. That's something they, I've since learned about how, you'd find that anywhere, like at 6 inches per square mile, the Earth's mathematics difference. You have to kind of take that into consideration when you're building anything. That's horseshit, though. We never did. So, by their standard, all our shit should be falling down. Our buildings should have collapsed. Our roadways should have collapsed. We wouldn't be able to square a building. But none of our levels or the instruments we use were ever accounting for 6 inches per square mile. That's ridiculous. It never came up. So whatever it is we're living on, right? It ain't round. I'm not saying anything other than that. Because when you say stuff like that, you have the it becomes a flat earth issue. And it immediately boxes it into a flat Earth paradigm. It's like, I don't know if the Earth's flat. I don't know if it's constantly certain parts move. I don't fucking know. Who knows? Anything could be possible these days. And no one else knows. Okay? You don't know either. You know? So cut with your smug bullshit, motherfucker. The anti-flat Earth people, they paint a picture where if you don't think the Earth is round, you think the Earth is a disc, like a fucking album, like the Phantom Zone from Superman 2. Like you just think it's flat, and they'll make fun of you, like, oh yeah, you're gonna sail off the Earth. You think, no. If the Earth is flat, then why are all the other planets flat? Why aren't they flat? Why are they round? How do you have a conversation with someone like that? It's like, dude, you think they're planets? What the fuck are you talking about? You can get your own fucking... You can get your own... What are those things? Well, I want to call it a horoscope. Telescope and see for yourself. What are you seeing? A blob in the sky? A light that they told you is Saturn? No, the geological information... Oh, the data. Oh, does that use ground world mathematics too? You know, is that incorporated into that? Is gravity a big part of that? Gravity that you can't see, measure, perceive, do any sort of tests that are conclusive to it being just gravity. No, it has to exist. It is real. It's real. Because if it wasn't, none of our other bullshit could work. Gravity is the glue that makes all the other nonsense work. It all comes back to gravity. It's not buoyancy. That has nothing to do with it, right? It's all so silly. But we weren't thinking about this for the longest time. Some still don't. I had no reason to ever question this stuff because I had no reason to question anything. You know, you're born into this world and looking down the barrel of a gun, and those who hold the gun want you to work fast and die young. Sorry, had a fucking flashback there. There's no reason to question any of that stuff. You know, when you're born, you're a kid, like, why would these people be lying to me? Not knowing that everything's completely made up. You know, and they're taking advantage of the fact that you're like a little sponge at that point and you have, you know, no discernment. So they can just tell you a bunch of shit, and the people that you trust the most in your life to live, keep you alive, your parents or older folks or, you know, people that are taking care of you, you believe what they say. That's how a lot of evil stuff happens. That's how a lot of kids get hurt. That's how a lot of abuse happens. You know, and then you'll protect them. Like, oh, I can't say anything. They're fucking... Not only will I get in trouble, I don't want to get them in trouble. It's fucking weird, man. It's fucking weird. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. You'll take that shit to the grave. I'm going to, you know. Essentially, like, as far as not pointing out things, like not giving details about anything other than just talking about it in a general sense. Yeah, when you're young, man, that's when they get you. You know, they put you in immediately the government takes you, puts you in school because now they get you. You know, they had to get you away from the family. The way they get you away from the family is women's lib. You know, you could have everything a man has. Why would you want to raise children and make sandwiches? You're better than that. And then they got a career, and now the kid has to go into fucking daycare or something. And when he comes home from school or daycare, school is just a government fucking run, babysitter. It's just a daycare where it's just programming going on all day. When you're in a place where you have to raise your hand to take a piss, it says a lot about the place you're in. It doesn't have anything to do with learning. Unless you want to learn about the slaughter of American Indians by evil white people, or the Holocaust, or the North Atlantic slave trade. All of, in my opinion, aren't what they presented them as. Not saying none of this stuff happened, but the devil's in the details. In this case, literally, usually between paydays, the first week should be like no problem, get everything we need. The next week can get a little touch and go. I noticed earlier now, earlier before payday, it becomes touch and go quicker. Like we're barely out of the first week since last payday, and already I'm like going down to Target last couple of times I was there, and like spent enough money so I couldn't get a bag. There you go. So I'm carrying. Did I need to show you that? Was that worth all that effort? No, that was hard to do. It's fucking crazy. I remember when back when I was a kid, in the 1600s, they when you shopped at a place, they were glad. The store was glad. Now I know these are mega corporations, they don't give a fuck about you and me or anything else, but the very least they could do is still give you a bag, right? I mean, you spent your money with them. And, you know, even though you did all the work, you rung it up, you put it through the little beeper, you took the money, you put it in the machine that usually fucks up so that you have to go get someone to come over and fix it for you. You know, you have to bring them over there and be like, this took half my money, but not the other half. I can't walk away because it's got, you know what I'm saying? It fucks you up. It doesn't fuck you up. It fucks you up in a way that you can't walk away from the machine because then you're out of money, but you can't go forward. So you have to get someone over there. So, like, you know, I could have circumvented this whole thing just by going to you behind the counter where there isn't anybody, just you standing around. You go into a place like Target, I'll use an example. There's like 3 or 4, you know, workers just kind of wandering around the area where the checkout is. None of them are at the registers, so there's no like invitation to come have them ring you up. They purposely don't go near their counters, that way they could kind of fool you into thinking, oh, I guess it's the only thing open are the self-checkouts. Oh, okay. When that's not true. You could ask them to ring you up, but a lot of them get really mad, especially the non-white ones. They fucking get really upset that you're making them work. They fucking hate it. But the yeah, back then, like, not only would the store do all the work, because, you know, you picked an item you wanted, you're going to give them money for this thing. You're keeping them in business, you know? So they're very happy to ring you up, count out all the change for you, do all the mathematics. Well, it's probably a good thing because these new people can't do it. But anyway, and then they, you know, I'll bag up your stuff for you. Doesn't matter what it is, right? I know this is fucking old man screaming at clouds thing, but that's part of, sometimes you have to put up with that shit to get to these esoteric knowledge and secret shit. Because I have to hide it. I have to bury it in this stuff, or else I wouldn't be able to do this. So, yeah, the fucking, then they charge you for the bags, right? Now, at Target, the bags are tiny. You know, I've gone by them before. They're I would say, I don't know if tiny is the word that makes it sound like it's real small. It's about, I'm going to draw out how big it is for you using my finger. And then so you can see. I don't have a finger I can use, but we're going to use this one. Okay, if this is it's fucking good content. If this is a fucking thing, I don't even know what it is, telephone pole. It's like this, right? It's like that big. Not big enough to put a roll of paper towel in, because the paper towels that come in 2 sections. You can put 1 in there, but if you got like a double pack, you got to hold it outside. These bags cost about $1.50 a piece. So if you're going in there to buy toothpaste and one other item, that's fine. But if you're buying, you know, not even a cart full, if you're buying a hand cart full, you gotta get 2 bags. And now you're carrying on fucking 2 bags. It's bullshit. It's all, you know, whatever. That is That is the classic, like, yelling at fucking cloud situation. What are you doing over here? How'd you get over here? You get lost?
I have to pick up my chat. You have a
Oh, yeah, I do. Hang on a second, buddy. How are you doing?
More than 5 chats.
All right.
More than 5 tits.
It's fucking...
That's gonna drop.
It's fucking...
But it dropped already.
It's party time.
That's how I created my vagina.
All right.
Yeah, all I need to do is get craning.
That's... Dude. Hope springs eternal.
Yeah,
I gotta go. Go walking.
Yeah,
Wait, hurry up, quick.
So when the asteroid was coming...
There is something coming. It's funny you say that because
it's here already, but my ticket was stolen. I would fly up and into the air.
Oh, really?
Did I fall down to the ground, or am I still there?
No, you're here. You fell. You're all the way.
That's what happened. You have a lighter?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. What else you need? Jesus Christ. Hold on.
Yo.
Let me put this down here. Here you go.
Okay. God damn it.
All right, sweetie. I gotta go. I got people waiting for me.
There's more than 3 of them, you know.
What is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'll see you later, bud. Gay homeless pro, obviously. He's kind of in every episode. No. You gotta wonder, is he CIA? You know? I do wonder that stuff, though, because, I mean, there's a lot of people in my area that I see almost every day, every time. I mean, you live in the neighborhood, yeah. But, just, you know, whenever I'm out there, I'd never seen him over here before. He's usually just someone you see, you know, down by where Target was, in that area. But whatever, hey, everybody's CIA. I don't know what they think they're gonna get. Well, I kind of know why. You know, whatever. I don't want to get into it now. I mean, if you know something, right? Why would you want them to know what you know? Brian Eno. Illuminati confirmed. Yeah, so anyway, civil engineering was an interesting job. Learned a lot. Learned a lot of different things that I didn't think I would ever use again. And it came to mind when I perfectly squared up my mirror in my bathroom. There's few things I'm like good at, you know, that I can be like, wow, good job there. And that was one of those times. Hopefully I'll experience that again between now and the next time I see you. Until then, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.